Hey guys, how's it going? Joey here with a patch rundown video today. I haven't done these in a while, but since there's a couple of changes to support that I keep getting asked in my stream chat already, I thought I would go through the patch notes today and give like my thoughts about the things that are happening for support changes, especially since I think this is the last patch for Worlds, I think they said. So yeah, let's just get straight into it and just go through a lot of the changes. They're doing a couple of matchmaking things. It doesn't really matter too much. Let's just talk about the actual changes to the game. They are changing the Infernal Cinders. They're making them a little bit stronger. They're giving you more haste per stack. This is really cool. Honestly, I really like these. These are like the little bard passives that spawn on the Infernal map. Really enjoy these being in the game. It feels really fun to kill people and take like the little Sonic coins. So happy for that, I guess. Chill vibes. Giving a small nerf to Aurora, just basically reducing her base damage on ulti. Pretty fine, to be honest with you. I didn't end up making an Aurora support video yet. Maybe I won't now that they're nerfing this. I've played it a few times and it feels decent. So this champ is definitely a little bit too strong right now. It's really dominant in higher elos. Same for Ashe. This champ has been strong for a really long time, so they're giving it a small base HP nerf, which should like stunt the early game of the champion, especially in higher elos. Because it's really strong in high elo still, or just really strong in early game. Caitlyn buffs, I believe Arcane is coming out, so small Caitlyn buffs, very respectable. Make sure the skin does well. They are making a skin or whatever for the actual show. They're doing a small attack speed ratio, which is nice because Caitlyn's attack speed ratio is probably one of the worst in the game for this, and just a smaller cooldown to traps. They are nerfing Ezreal, who has been really dominant for a very long time. After they buffed his Q ratio, he found a really like OP spot in the meta and pro play especially, and has been fairly decent in solo queue ever since then. They are changing the Q cooldown and damage increased on Graves Q. Another buff for Graves. I think he got one recently. I don't really know if this is something that's needed, but apparently it is. Not really the biggest cooldown changes, getting 1 second at max rank, basically, and then a little bit of damage on the top. We're going from 330 to 350, so 20 at max rank, scaling for 5. Nothing really major. Will be a small buff to just clear speed. Anytime you buff a jungler's like cooldown or maximum damage, like it helps them a lot as a champion since they're using it so often to kill camps. They are nerfing Katarina. They buffed it last patch. I guess they overbuffed it, so they're unhappy with it. Changing the AP ratio and then the overall rank damage of it as well. Fine. Sure. Vibes, yeah. No, that's I always get really confused when they buff a champion and then they nerf him the next patch, because it's like, surely we could have seen this the massive buff that you give a champion before being a little bit too much. And then nerfing them. I think they did that Senna a couple patches ago too. I think they did go Senna this patch as well. So no, that's one of the bigger support changes. They are nerfing Kennen, which is okay. I don't really see a lot of Kennen, to be honest with you, so I don't really know if this is that insane. Kennen roughly allows them to. Okay, Kennen is too strong. Valid, sure. I don't really like playing Kennen or having Kennen in my game, so love that for me. All right, Kindred. Kindred is getting a small attack speed buff and an E damage increased and cooldown increased. Again, the same thing that I was talking about with Graves. Whenever there is a buff to jungler spells, it's really good just because of their clear being like buffed in general. So Kindred might actually get played a lot more. Nice to see them buff Kindred and Graves together, because Kindred was a counter to Graves. So that's nice. They're buffing the counter to the champion they're buffing. LeBlanc Q damage decreased and W damage decreased. This is fine. Honestly, this champ is a little bit overtuned. It can be played even in support right now and have a pretty decent win rate. I did a video on this a couple of weeks ago. I think it's just a really annoying champion to play versus in general, especially in mid lane. If it gets ahead, it's just a little bit too strong and too dominant, and its early fighting is way too strong, so they're just nerfing the overall scaling of the champion by 5% on Q and 5% on W, 10% overall in the burst. I mean, she's still gonna one-shot you, but she's gonna be a little bit worse in some spots. Lissandra Q damage increase are oh, that's interesting. I mean, Lissandra also used to be a good matchup into LeBlanc, so maybe she'll find a better spot in the meta, because right now I even know like LeBlanc can win versus Lissandra, even though it used to be a counter. So maybe it's a little bit more standard for Lissandra to win. They're buffing the Q damage by 5 per rank, and then the R is getting a 15% slow buff. Pike armor nerf. Pike's been really good at high elo, and not really doing that great in low elo, but still has a really high ban rate in low elo, even though the champion has a negative win rate in lower elos. I think this is just gonna stop the champ from feeling OP. Like, this is like a placebo nerf. It'll probably nerf his win rate by like 1% or like 0.5%, and that's fine, but I don't think that 4 armor is the part that's annoying for people to play versus Pike. I don't think this is going to change much of like his actual ban rate or like why people don't like playing versus the champion. And it's good for higher elo as well, but it's also the same thing where I don't think 4 armor is like what makes Pike strong necessarily in higher elos. Is the fact that he has like really high roaming and like early game pressure, all these types of things. But reducing his base armor is going to like just make it slightly worse of a champion. So I want to see how much of a drop in win rate Pike actually gets after this. Okay, they are nerfing Rumble passive damage, which is chill. The on hit was a little too high, especially versus tanks. Apparently, they're targeting the max health of it by reducing by 1%. Ryze Q damage. This is sure nobody really plays Ryze, especially in solo queue. I haven't really seen anybody play this at all in my games. So seeing a little bit of a buff to his Q, 5 damage at every rank basically is the buff. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then the R buff is really nice too, because ult is like, this is such a long cooldown for an ult that really doesn't feel that impactful for the most part. Maybe I'll regret saying this because you can use Ryze ult really well bottom. But people were playing honestly a lot more top Ryze than they were mid Ryze. So as just like a lane bully or like a counter to certain picks. So interesting to see this. I don't think Ryze will get a lot of play just from like these buffs alone. Maybe people will start testing it out and they'll enjoy it and find out the champ's fine. Here's, I think, one of the big changes for me this patch that they are doing. They're nerfing the Q healing in the R AP shield ratio. This is the most asked question I get in chat right now when I stream is Senna a dead champion after this change? And I don't think that she is. I think that the AP version is just going to be a little bit worse. But I think what's important to note is like the AP version was already getting outscaled in my mind, or not outscaled, like out usefulness by the Black Cleaver version already. So I think that you just get to build the Black Cleaver version of Senna. The healing won't be as like turbo strong. You hit 2 items auto with the game. It'll still be playable. The win rate is way too strong for these changes to actually, I think, nerf it out of existence, because it's sitting like 55% win rate. I think it'll still be an okay or good champion. I think the Black Cleaver build will still be okay or good. I don't think that this will kill the champion. I think it'll just nerf it to the point where it's, again, just less fun to play. Champion's losing its identity. And unlucky. I mean, it's just going to be a little bit, what's it called? In case you haven't watched a video from your favorite influencer, let this be go Black Cleaver. It's really good on you. Nice one. Okay, and then the second really big change to support is the Seraphine nerf, the other Omega healer right now in the game. They are nerfing the shield by 20, and that's 5 per rank, I believe. And the shield is just way too strong as it is, and then they're taking out the scaling cooldown on the W. So putting points into it early is going to feel really, really bad. Which was something that was really strong right now, I think, is just going Guardian and taking W, and it's really hard to die in lane. Now the cooldown of it's going to be so long that I don't know. I'll have to give a little look into Seraphine over the next couple of days and see how the champion feels, see if it's still strong, because this definitely feels like something that might change your playstyle up a little bit, because you just don't get as much value from the early game. and being able to just survive and do nothing, which is like what her strength kind of was right now. You could just max W, do nothing, hit 2 items, and just carry the game straight out if your team like wants to win, you know. Okay, they are nerfing Sylas. They saw the support Sylas video I made, obviously. They're nerfing the W by 10% AP ratio. I think this champion has too much burst in its kit. For playing support Sylas, it's just kind of an annoying champion to play against. It actually did feel quite strong, so yep. Choice of Fate Q damage nerf, like Q damage increase, sorry. They are giving it what, just base damage? Yeah, 5 base damage per rank. Very normal change for them. Great for TF mid wave clear. I'm sure you hit the breakpoint a little bit earlier when your Q1 shots backline. Not a big fan of TF being in the game. I think its ult's really annoying to play as a bot laner. Madge. Okay, Varus Q buff. After they changed Varus or like reworked his passive, I haven't really seen any Varus, to be completely honest with you. I think the champion was really, really dead. So let's see what they're doing to try to bring it back to life. They are giving the max damage of Q to be way higher. No damage, just still 2/3 of the damage. Escaped pro jail and she's still underperforming. This patch we're really playing up his gold scaling with purchases of bonus AD to make sure you can scale reasonably well into the late game. I mean this does look like you are buffing that quite a bit. Okay, it's just ratio on E. If the E was if this was more than just a ratio buff, this would be really insane. 20% bonus 80 on the ratio there, and then what, they're changing this to 25% bonus 80 ratio, so he's getting an overall like 45% bonus 80 ratio to his kit and to his burst. That's actually pretty decent. I don't know if the champion is that dead before this. This is a pretty big buff. Let me check. What's his win rate at right now? Like, it can't be this bad. Okay, it's that bad. He's considered the worst AD carry according to the analytics. And nobody's building in lethality anymore. This is gonna definitely help the lethality build out. Okay, the lethality build's really shit. Okay, this is fine. We're okay with this. We're okay with this. Okay, Warmog's another really big support item that's getting nerfed. They're trying to make this item just non-existent for supports. They already have been kind of doing that in the past. I mean, this item, even for junglers, now feels like it's going to get pretty killed off. They just couldn't find a way to balance it for both jungle and support, so it just seems like it's going to be dead. I don't know when I would ever buy this. It's just really overpriced for what it is right now. You get no movement speed. I would not buy this item on support anymore. I know a lot of people ask me about this as well. It's just not good. There's no way. It's time to start going back to your lock-it every game when you play melee support or Trailblazer or Deadman's Plate. Don't buy this. It's not good anymore. Don't buy this. And then they're buffing Celestial Opposition in a way. No, they're just completely nerfing it. Why did someone tell me they were buffing it? Anyway, they are nerfing the slow to a 50% slow for 1.5 seconds. Somebody told me they were buffing this, and I got really confused why they were buffing it. And then, okay, they're nerfing it. That makes so much more sense because this item is like fine. Bloodsong is already way better than this in most spots anyway. I don't really see a lot of positions where I like going Celestial Opposition. Feels like a little bit of a weird nerf to me, but hey, I'll take it. No, more of a reason to go Bloodsong. Happy with that. Very chill. They're nerfing Observe Life, I assume. This is like, just knowing this Rune is so broken to begin with. This patch will make Absorb weak on average, meaning it should only come in when you really need to recoup health, especially in the late game. So it is just an overall flat nerf at every rank. It looks like this room is overperforming to begin with. Who would have thought that giving mages a sustain rune in lane that they can take for essentially free was a good idea. This has been nerfed a couple of times already. The original state of this was really, really broken. It's a big reason as to why mages were so broken bot lane. So it's nice to see this getting nerfed. Anything that nerfs mages out of bot lane, hey, all power to you. I think mages bot lane are really, really boring because it doesn't really incentivize a lot of fighting and laning, and it incentivizes a lot more roaming and stuff like that. I'm a really big fan of fighting 2v2 and laning just 2v2. So this nerfing that, no, sorry, this buffing that feels great to me. We're walking back on our 14.11 cutdown buff because it's no longer needed. Extra push as it's now both popular and strong. All right, cool. 60% instead of 50%. I don't think there's a lot of sports you're taking cut down on anyway. Fleet footwork changes. This might be a bigger nerf to Black Cleaver Senna than the other changes. Let's see. The movement speed is now getting nerfed to pre-patch. Like they added the 0.25 when they was it new season? Yeah, new season they added 0.25 when they removed lethal tempo. And then they're getting rid of the movement speed and they're lessening the heal later in the game. Yeah, this is annoying. I don't like that. I don't like the fleet forward nerf. They're nerfing my role. Well, they're nerfing Senna. Senna's like the only support that you do this with. But in general, I mean, it's just too strong in solo lanes. So that's reasonable, honestly, when... Yeah, it's just reasonable. Okay, ARM class this weekend. If you guys didn't know, make sure you have fun with that. Set up visual effects updates, arena. Won't go through that. Oh my god, bug fixes, ARM changes. Okay, let's go through the ARM changes. No, it's fine. Anything useful? New skin line. These skins look really sick. This what's it called? Darius. This MS skin looks really insane. Okay, well, I guess that is it. If you guys enjoyed the patch rundown, I know I don't really always make these very often, but if you guys enjoyed the inside, do let me know. I appreciate it. Hope you guys have a really great day. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like, comment. Appreciate all the, that good stuff. Hope to see you guys in the next one or in the next support commentary. If you guys want to see me test out anything this patch, do also let me know. Bye, guys.